Architects of Control was conceived is because what we're doing is diagnosing for people, in layman's terms, what a psychopath is. So when you look at these creatures that appear out of royalty and out of government, no matter what smile they've got on, no matter what color face they've got, no matter what kind of car they drive or hairstyle they've got, we have to start understanding that these people are mad as hell. They're crazy. The Napoleons, the Pol Pots. The whole shebang, the Stalins, the Lenins. It's not just something of the history books. These guys are still with us today. It can be proven. I make reference to a book which your audience definitely needs to know about, which is called Death by Government.
Yes. Which
will absolutely show you this academic man has written stories showing that the governments of the world kill more of their own people. This is a thoroughly documented work that shows that governments kill their own nations more than they do even during times of war when they pester somebody else. They're on record as murdering their own people more. So we're talking about one of the most toxic things that you could possibly conceive. So they turn the world into a toilet because, of course, they don't want that kind of energy, both geopathic, which is an extremely important aspect of this, the whole geospheric concept. I go into that in the Atlantis book and all throughout my work. And they also don't want it in the consciousness of man because they know, as I've said before, that the zombie that they've created is only kept a zombie because they're constantly drip feeding you with the datura. Should the datura dry up for even 24 hours, so to speak, what will happen is we'll all start regaining our consciousness because ultimately we're not their creatures. We are creatures of a much higher intelligence.
Exactly.
And also simply, and it may be a cliche to most people, but, I will say it again happily, is that good cannot be destroyed by evil. Evil can never conquer good. It's simply not possible because of the way nature's ordinances are. Nature may tolerate violations of her laws and nature and her ordinances, but the one who suffers from evil is evil. Like Socrates said, to harm another is to harm oneself. The evil one is the cancerous one. The evil one is the diseased one. The evil one is his first own victim. He lives in fear. He lives in hate. He lives in defensiveness. I've said time and time again about when I've done presentations on the difference between holarchy and hierarchy, is that before the visitation, hierarchy would have been like lunacy. You would have looked at it and wouldn't have seen it because it takes a psychopath to see it. It's like one of those little, where you have that little, the paradoxicon of the vase, and can you see the faces or do you see the vase?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Or there's that sketch of the old woman and the young woman, and all that. Mm-hmm. And some people just can't see the one or the other. Well, that's what we're talking. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. So this, and Escher is of course a great example. And what's going on here is that only the psychopath sees a hierarchy, because hierarchy in point of fact doesn't exist, nor could you talk a person who sees it out of that delusion. So it's just a comment because there's nothing you can do about it. The fact is that the holarchy is how it works. This has been proven scientifically since the advent of quantum science, but it's been spoken of as early as the Vedas by every mystic worth his salt, has described the holarchy of life, that everything is interconnected, the parts are in the whole and the whole is in the part. But the one definition of a psychopath is he can't see that. So we then are creatures of the holarchy. And that holarchy, as Bruce Lipton has shown, as Deepak Chopra has commented on, as Barbara Marciniak has pointed out, as Barbara Hahn-Klau has pointed out, the photonic energy within our cells is as a receiver. It's also a generator. Consciousness affects matter. I go into this in my own work about the inner zodiac stuff,
right.
And all the rest of it. And the microcosm, are connected, meaning psychic energy, physical energy are identical. There is no two separate things at all. All shamanic organizations and groups know this. All mystics, any scientist worth their salt, like the Teslas and the Walter Russells of the world, know this. Healers know it. Homeopaths know it. Only the psychopaths don't know it because they can't see it. You could point them to it and they wouldn't see what you're seeing. It's like Tennyson said, you put a straight stick into a pool and it looks bent. These bent ones, that's all they can see is the bent stick in a pool. They cannot see it straight. So we are now dealing, in the last chapter of the Atlantis book, I talk about the homeopathic purging of our planet and our system of this virus, this kind of pestilence. You don't start by beating them over the head. They've got the perfect right. If you watch Disc 2 of Architects of Control, I even address this at great length, that don't be telling them they got no right to do what they do. They have the right to do what they're doing, but you don't need to buy it. So what we have to do is homeopathically remedy our own immune systems. This is understood by people who understand yoga, true magic, and through martial arts, you strengthen and develop your own immunity so that their jive doesn't have a slightest effect on you. You've already won the game, and they're going to fizzle away into nothing. But going with your placards and your, ideologies and your little partisan belief systems, or worse, fighting in the pig pen that they've created for you in which to have this wonderful charade, is going to be of no use. It hasn't been of no use. You can create a dozen more parties, a dozen more ologies. You can create a super socialist party, a super green party, a super conservative party. Another, you can come up with any. You can move the Rubik's cube of politics and social activity in whichever way you want, and it's going to still remain a cube. There's nothing you can do. It's just moving furniture around on the Titanic. It's good fun while it lasts, but it is absolutely not going to remedy the main situation at all.